Okay, everyone, let's get started. So happy to be here. We're Inception Studio. We just ran a 48-hour Buildathon, just right in the room right over there on the sixth floor. We brought together 40 of the world's most amazing builders all together, all building their startups. We had a pitch competition yesterday. The top 3 teams are going to be here on the stage, on this showcase stage. So we're super excited to be here. HumanX, what an amazing venue to do something like this. And the great thing is it's not only investors here, we also have many of the customers of the startups are here as well. So it was so inspiring to see many of these startup founders not only going to hack away on their projects, but also going to talk to customers as well. So it's been a great event. So just quickly about Inception Studio. So our mission here is to empower exceptional entrepreneurs to fulfill their destiny by starting new companies, right? And we're very strong believers in entrepreneurship. We're actually a nonprofit, a 501c3 nonprofit. We don't take any equity from the companies, and we don't charge the founders anything. We just want to focus on bringing together the very best founders together and helping them to catalyze that company formation, right? And the genesis of this is that your traditional accelerator programs are not really the best fit for those most talented builders. These are people like serial entrepreneurs, exited founders, people who have deep domain expertise. People like this, they have different standards. They are looking, they care a lot about quality. They want to, work with people who they feel like are the same caliber as them, right? They're looking for things that are very early stage. They care a lot about time, and they don't want to waste time on a low value program. That's why we keep our program super short. And they thrive in the most intense environments. And so that's what we've built. It's a brand new accelerator model for the most talented, the most ambitious builders. And so they're built around these retreat events that we do, 72 hours long. We bring together some of the world's top, not only engineers, but also product people, go-to-market, and all the raw ingredients you need for a great early stage startup. We bring them all together in a location, in a house, remove all their distractions, surround them by other really smart, creative people, and ultimately provide them a deadline. On the last day, we have a big demo day pitch event, and this has been super successful so far. Right? This is Mike Morris, and I'm John Whaley. We're the founders of Inception Studio. Also here supported by another amazing team at Inception, and we brought together also some of the world-class advisors to help not only with pitch coaching, but also with company strategy and many other areas, right? We've had lots of success so far. We've helped 183 founders have been through our program. Our NPS is 85. That's because because people have such a great experience at Inception, we design it in a way where it's all upside for founders, right? There's no downside to joining. We take no equity. We don't charge the founders anything. So that allows us to attract the very best entrepreneurs. We are almost 80% of the people through Inception are serial entrepreneurs. They started at least one company in the past. Almost a third of the people have a successful exit in the past. It's an average of 14 years professional experience. This is quite different from your typical accelerator program. Honestly, the people in Inception, they don't really need an accelerator, but they do need a little bit of help in terms of meeting co-founders, getting conviction on an idea, and ultimately providing that catalyst to help them get started. And that's what we provide. Right? We're a big believer in diversity as well. 25% of our founders so far have been women entrepreneurs, and we're working to increase that as well. Yeah, and so here's a selection of some of the companies that have come through Inception already. You may recognize some of the names here. And here are some of the VC firms that have invested in Inception companies. It's pretty much the who's who of everybody in AI investment. This is the reality when you put together really amazing founders and just give them a little catalyst to help them to get started. They end up starting companies, and those companies end up going well. So not only do we get top VCs to come to our demo days, but they actually make investments, based on what they see there. So this is super exciting. I'll hand it over to Mike, and we can talk about what we're doing here with the Buildathon.
Yeah. So what's a Buildathon? A Buildathon is part traditional hackathon and part Inception retreat. We've taken our retreat format on the road and brought it to Las Vegas. The way this worked is on Sunday, less than 3 days ago, Sunday afternoon, we had 36 of what we consider to be some of the world's best AI builders who are looking to start companies. Some of these were very early stage teams, like literally they're just co-founders working together, may or may not have raised money yet. And some are solo founders looking for their next thing they want to work on. They formed teams, 13 teams to be specific, and just last night we had 13 teams pitch. All of the pitches were amazing. We had to choose the top 3 to come to this stage, and that's where we are. These teams have worked tirelessly day and night, and morning and evening, and late morning as well. So it's been quite a ride for us all. I'd also like to introduce our esteemed judging panel. John, you just met. I'd also like to introduce Rob Ferguson from Microsoft, and also Josh Constein. You'll hear more from them later. Let's get on to the pitches. First off, I'm excited to introduce Eve and Vadim.
Okay. Hi everyone. We are building Eve, fully autonomous executive assistant for individuals and teams. So there are a few problems that I'm sure will resonate with everyone here. First of all, despite all the hype around AI agents are far from being autonomous yet, meaning you as a user, you need to input a lot of effort into get at least some value from them. And secondly, they are far from being personalized. They are not really learning from your past actions and preferences. So why we're building this company now? First of all, the technology is ready. We believe that the foundation is ready. LLMs can reason, they can prioritize. AI agentic ecosystem is evolving very fast. However, there is still a huge gap between primitive scheduling solutions like Calendly, from past decade on one end of the spectrum, and human EAs on another end of the spectrum. And in the middle, there are some smart teams obviously trying to do something, but no breakthroughs, no leaders yet. So that's why we are building Eve, first context-aware executive assistant with real-time conversational UI. Just imagine that you can ask your AI assistant to go and clear your entire schedule on Friday because your flight got canceled, right? And Eve is not just going to go and remove all the events from your calendar like every other solution would do because it's not going to help you, and it's easy. Eve instead will identify every person associated with every event on your calendar, will reach out to them via email. If they don't respond via SMS, if you allow, Eve will call them, and Eve will make sure that it will get scheduled in the next few weeks. The best part is without you even noticing, because everything is going to be happening in the background after you just type a few words, right? And the even better part is that it's already working. And it's working because of our secret sauce, which is the combination of personalized knowledge graphs, of multiple sources of context that Eve uses to learn about your preferences across your multiple personas, and multi-agent applications. So we are not just building another scheduling agent. It's not exciting, it's not interesting, it's not ambitious. We are already evolved into schedule management, meaning we manage your entire schedule, helping you to be more productive. Then our roadmap expands into meeting and task management, and then ultimately is going to cover entire workday automation by amplifying and maybe at some point of time even replacing human EAs. And our go-to-market basically started with purely founder-led growth and product viral loops that we've been already successfully doing. Then it's going to scale through multi-channel content marketing and partnerships with adjacent AI tools and founder executive communities, and will culminate into land and expand strategy and B2B sales playbook that I've been managing in my previous startups for 16 years with the goal to reach first 100,000 paying users. So we have 400 plus people on the wait list already with zero marketing, with just a few posts on LinkedIn, pure word of mouth. We started on board first users into our private beta 6 weeks ago. 30% of people use it every day. You've already scheduled more than 500 calls and meetings. Planning to launch public beta in April. And we are targeting large $70 billion total addressable market with a premium product priced at $50 per month per seat. And our founding team is a combination of decades of go-to-market LLM and product management experience with 10 plus companies and 5 exits combined. And we invite you to join our waitlist for high performers if you want to try Eve soon. Thank you.
Wow. Any guys want to go? Yeah.
Yes, I'd love to hear what you think is the product feature or the task that you can complete that's at the intersection of what is most differentiated from other things, most impactful, but also most common, like a most common use case, something that most people have a problem with. It would make a big difference and others don't solve it.
Yeah, I would say multi-party scheduling. That's the feature we've been developing actually during the hackathon. Multi-party scheduling isn't solved yet. You have Doodle. Probably not so many people even heard of it. It's just terrible, right? And no one else actually created something. But multi-party scheduling, it's not enough for a big product company, but it's still a very important feature to solve. And it is just a great example of a use case that is super valuable that we can already do very seamlessly using AI and using our understanding of user preferences and behavior.
You know, Calendly didn't sound like it was that big of a feature, but yet that was a very successful startup, right?
Yes.
So I'm curious though, when you talked about the total addressable market, is that all the EAs in this world, or is that specifically software related to scheduling? How did you come up with that number?
Yeah, I mean, we are not serving EAs. I think we are serving individuals. Our beachhead market is individuals with more than 10 calls, external calls or meetings per week with multiple calendars who don't suffice with just Calendly, right? And they might be even using EAs. Many of them actually use EAs, and they ask us to give them Eve because Eve, with the help of Eve, their EAs can offload lower value stuff to Eve, to AI, so their EAs can focus on higher value stuff, right? So our goal is to go after high performers, founders, VCs, executives, etc., and then to expand into teams, like basically product-led growth, right?
So Google has a lot of the information. I mean, they have context about your Gmail. They obviously have calendar function. They recently added something for scheduling. What's to stop them from just going and re-implementing what you're doing, or what's their differentiation there?
It would be great for them if they do it. We actually wait for it because they will unlock the market, is like they did with many other things. And we believe that people we serve, they live across multiple platforms. We believe that they don't live in Google because we use, all of us use LinkedIn, Slack, Google, Apple Mail, whatever, Discord, WhatsApp. So we live across at least 3 platforms. None of these platforms is going to do what we do because they won't have data across your multiple platforms, across your multiple personas. So that's why we don't feel any real threat. It's going to be actually good if these platforms will come up with something similar.
Got it.
All right, great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So the next pitch to come up, I'd like to welcome to the stage Lightning Rod. Ben, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Every business decision is based on assumptions about the future, but predicting the future is hard. AI today is really bad at real-world prediction. If they don't know the answer, models will confidently hallucinate something. They're also easily misled by bad data. AI is good at finding relevant information, but it's really bad at knowing, should I trust this information? We invented a framework that trains AI to predict the future, where agents learn by competing with each other to make the best predictions. We can do this at scale, with no humans in the loop and no curated training data. This is AlphaGo for the real world. There are many advantages to learning this way. There's no way to memorize the answer if it hasn't happened yet, so models are forced to reason about the world. The future is noisy, so models learn how to calibrate their confidence levels. It rewards finding information with predictive value. So it forces models to learn, I shouldn't trust this, or this is something I should ignore, but this is good information over here. We've already proven that this works. Our earliest models are already way more accurate than frontier models on prediction tasks, despite being a fraction of the size. But accuracy alone is actually not enough. You don't just want a model that's better at guessing the right answer. You want a model that can communicate to you how confident it is in the answer you're getting. It needs to be able to give you probabilities that you believe. We've measured this, and our model produces way more calibrated probabilities. So when our model says something is 30% likely to happen, it actually happens about 30% of the time. We've also demonstrated that this scales. We've quickly scaled learning from a couple tens of samples a day to tens of thousands of predictions per day with no limit in sight. None of this requires any labeled data or human curation. All this requires is internet access. So we think we're at the beginning of an explosive learning curve here. We have validated use cases in very big markets. Insurance companies want to automate risk calculations on complex custom policies. Hedge funds want faster and better analyses than their best analysts can produce, even if you give them weeks. And defense stakeholders need to know what's the biggest threat right now, taking into account all the data they currently can't process, including satellite imagery and social network data. But the opportunity here is much bigger than that. Today, it's just not feasible to actually analyze all of your options, no matter what you're trying to do. There's too much data. There's too many factors at play. So we narrow our focus to the few obvious options that jump into our mind. This changes when superhuman predictions are available cheaply, instantaneously, and integrated into everything that we do. This will change how decisions are made in every organization, everywhere. The point of prediction is to impact outcomes. What's the highest leverage path I can take right now to get what I want? We're not really just in the prediction business. We're in the business of helping you navigate to the outcome you want to get to. My co-founder and I have over 20 years of experience in AI, including at Google and Microsoft. And if you want to learn more, please get in touch. Thank you.
Could you talk us through a little bit about what does the product look like in terms of what is the user actually inputting? How do they give it the proper context? How do they refine, the answers, especially when they do see it maybe getting off track, or ask it to, or give it a new query if it says, hey, our confidence level on this response is too low?
Yeah, so honestly, we're pretty early on that front, but today there's two ways that you can interact with our models. One is very much like a ChatGPT-like interface, where you just ask questions, you can ask follow-up questions, and soon you'll even be able to set notifications. So if there's something you want to track over time, let me know if the probability for this thing happening changes substantially. We'll send you an email. The other is API. So there's a lot of use cases where you want to do millions of calculations at once to analyze lots of different things, and we can spit probabilities back out at you.
Well, as somebody who confidently hallucinates when I don't know the answer to things, I'm happy to be replaced by this, so thank you.
Same here.
So take us a little bit through this notion of self-play. If I am that insurance company who wants to come in and try your product, and I want to simulate a lot of possible probabilities, what is the technology actually thinking and doing for that insurance company different than simply asking one of these models, what's the probability of this happening?
Yeah. So, one of the problems with training AI today is that you need labeled data, right? And that's really hard when you're trying to calculate probabilities, because something either happens or it doesn't. You don't know that the probability was actually 30% or something like that. We use self-play to get around this. So if you have a bunch of agents competing, what's the best probability of this thing happening? Or you actually have a reason to pick 88% instead of 87%, and we don't need to know what that percentage actually is in the game that we're playing. So this mechanism kind of gets around being able to produce really good, well-calibrated probabilities without knowing what they should be in advance, just from the binary, did this happen or didn't it happen labels.
Understood. And then, so what would the onboarding experience actually be like for that insurance company?
Oh, the onboarding experience. Realistically, for something like an insurance company, one of the advantages we have is that this is a framework. We can fine-tune a special model just for specific enterprises, and our models are also pretty small. 14 billion parameters now. We're going to train a 32 billion parameter next. This can fit on a couple GPUs in their office on-prem. So for like really sensitive data, that's a big advantage. So I think for an insurance company, they'd probably want to negotiate something where we fine-tune a model just for them and we deploy it where they need it.
So, I mean, we're thinking about what type of enterprise you're going to target. I presume it sounds like a lot of these are becoming larger enterprises, right? And then, of course, then why would they say, hey, let's work with this tiny startup versus Microsoft, Google, or anyone else? Like, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, we're quite early on the go-to-market. We have validated these use cases. Like, we've talked to people in these different industries, and like they're excited about this. But we're early there, so we don't know exactly where we would start if we were selling this today. In terms of what advantages we have over the big models, the obvious one is accuracy. So our probabilities are meaningful, and they're way more accurate than the big models. But like we were just saying, we can also put this on-prem. So if you're a hedge fund and you don't want to send your data anywhere, we can have this running on a GPU wherever you need it. And same thing for like private health data or insurance data.
And maybe just quickly, this is a huge problem. Like everybody wants to predict the future. Huge companies surely see this problem too. What makes you as a small, scrappy team able to do this better than a giant team with all the leading researchers and infinite compute and power?
Yeah, I mean, all the infinite compute and power is definitely an advantage, and we'd like to get more of that.
Call me later.
Wouldn't we all?
But I mean, the history of neural networks kind of tells us that when you give these things a game that they can optimize, where they can play the game endlessly with no limit to how many rounds they can go, they learn things that surprise us, right? AlphaGo didn't just get to like human level, it blew past humans because it was able to play itself all day. So the fact that we're able to let LLMs play this game all day at scale, I think we might just really be surprised. Like, what is the move 37 of predicting the future? At a certain point, if you want to predict how things are moving in space, you have to invent general relativity or a new law of science. And we might be surprised yet again by what these things can do.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ben. And for our third and final pitch of this afternoon, I'd like to invite up Taranjeet from Mem0.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I am going to talk about how we are solving a fundamental LLM problem and how we have attracted 40,000 developers just to solve that. AI is everywhere, but there is a fundamental problem. It forgets. It doesn't remember things about you. So if you want to have a session with AI and want to persist it, you'll pass everything into the context window. But context windows are limited in size. Now, how do you do a session that persists truly over days, weeks, months, years, with more and more information coming in? It's not possible with current architecture. And if you want to do this in-house, that's not possible. That's very complicated, and it takes like months of engineering. With Mem0, we solve this problem. Mem0 is the #1 solution to implement memory across any LLM app or AI agent. It is just 2 lines of code, and it enables memory across any LLM out there. I'll give you one example of what memory is, what memory solves. Consider Khan Academy, whose stated goal is to create a personalized AI tutor for everyone. With the current approach, every learner will get the same response irrespective of their background. But what if Khan Academy were to use Mem0 and there is a learner like me who is interested in airplanes and prefers learning via real-world example? Now the answer is totally personalized to me. So I'm not only better understanding the concept, but in fact I'm engaging more by asking questions. Mem0 is 100x better than anything else out there. I built an AI tutor app that was featured at Google I/O, and it took me 6 months to implement memory there. With Mem0, I would be doing it in like just 1 day, and the only skill set I need is just API integration. And the memory management is super great out of the box, and the experience is personalized. And this is one example If your developer has to implement like a long context or memory in-house, on the left you see that's a complicated diagram that they would have to implement. But on the right, you see just 2 lines of code with which they can implement memory right now. So I'll give you few examples where like memory is applicable. Memory is applicable everywhere where AI or LLMs are involved. Imagine you're talking to a customer support agent. It's so frustrating that they don't remember anything about you. But with Mem0, they'll remember that you're calling them about the recent refund that's there. In healthcare, if you're talking to like an healthcare AI, they knows like your entire medication history and can suggest better. Or if you're building an AI tutor app, it knows where exactly you left and how do you learn. And there are like many more use cases on top of it. We are the #1 solution and the market leader to enable memory across any LLM, for any AI agent out there. We have more than 26,000 GitHub stars, and we see developers from larger enterprises using us. I built the first GPT store right when ChatGPT was launched, and it grew it to like 400K monthly active users. And Deshraj, who is my co-founder and CTO, led AI infra at Tesla Autopilot and is a distinguished researcher. We both come from a deep expertise of having done this before, and we are using it to solve it better. So the future of, I believe that AI cannot continue further until it's personalized, and Mem0 is the #1 solution to enable that. If this is of interest to you, come talk to me. I'm right here. Thank you.
Could you talk to us about how does the developer platform space evolve over time, and why does this become a point solution that's plugged in rather something that's kind of available at the base layer through other providers or your other types of dev platforms?
Yeah, so like it can be available at like LLM level, like OpenAI provides memory for ChatGPT, which is the consumer-facing product. But if I am a developer, right now more and more developers are using multiple models. Somebody is using Claude 3.5 to write code, somebody is using ChatGPT for writing tasks. And if I'm using like multiple models, I would want my memory to be maintained at a unified layer which can talk to all these LLMs. Also, I wouldn't want to tie my memory to a single LLM out there because that's like a single point of failure for a business.
Good answer.
26,000 stars is amazing. How did the developer community find you? What is going to be the future features that developers want from your product that is going to keep them coming back to you and not working directly with foundational model providers?
So for us, we started all this like via post on Twitter. Twitter, LinkedIn worked well for us, and then developers discovered us from Twitter, and that's how GitHub. So that has worked well for us. Right now, we are like the users of our product ourselves, and we interact closely with our developers. So we have like 3,500 developers in our Discord, and we do like a lot of sessions with them to understand what do they want next. So we try to be very fast in whatever they are asking. If you look into our GitHub repo, the time from somebody opens up an issue to us, building it is very fast. So that's how we try to, address all the feedback that developers are giving. And we also try to build a lot of products ourselves. So that way we, stay in the game and we keep learning the new challenges and we keep addressing it back into the framework.
Love that.
So there's a difference between making a successful open source project and making a kind of viable business that's going to continue to grow and scale. So what is your approach there, like in terms of like leveraging your successful open source project and then turning that into revenue for your company?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we are following the open core model here, wherein we have open sourced the package so that developers, hobbyists, and even like early stage startups can get started and build this and get the memory feature out. But if you want to move to like a higher scale with better accuracy, with like faster latency and enterprise related features, you move to the platform. So that's how we plan to monetize in the future.
Got it.
Amazing. I mean, remarkable progress. When did you get started on this, and tell us sort of like the timeline versus like what did you complete during the program this weekend or this week?
So we have been working on this for like 9 to 10 months now. And during this Buildathon, we built like a customer support agent. It's a voice-based customer support agent, which truly understands you, because this was from like my co-founder's pain. Like he used to call Best Buy and they would not remember his history. So we built like a voice-based customer support agent, which remembers about you everything. So next time if you're calling and the last time if the call got disconnected, it will remember that you were super frustrated about the TV that didn't come, and it will just start from there. So this is what we built.
Love it.
Cool.
Thanks
you.
so much.
All right, let's give it up for the founders who braved the stage. All right, congratulations. Yeah, and let's stay in touch. There's a QR code that'll take you to Inception Studio's webpage. If you know any fantastic, experienced early stage founders looking to start a company in AI, or the sponsors interested in being part of this, come check us out. As closing, I'd love to hear from our esteemed judging panel. Yeah, maybe start with a brief introduction, and then give us any parting thoughts you have on what you thought of what you just saw. Maybe start with you, Josh.
Sure. Hey everybody, I'm Josh Constein. I was formerly the editor-at-large for TechCrunch for 9 years, where I wrote 4,000 articles, including the first ever coverage of companies like Robinhood and Figma. I was the #1 most cited tech journalist in the world from 2016 to 2020. And then I joined $2.1 billion AI native early stage venture fund Signalfire in 2020, where I lead the consumer investing efforts as well as the PR advisory program. We invest lead check seed to Series B, focused on healthcare developer tools, cybersecurity, and vertical AI. And I focus on consumer at pre-seed, writing 50K checks at formation and pre-seed stage for consumer and moonshot founders. And I think to me, what is most exciting right now is that because the landscape is changing so fast, while you do see these hyperscaler companies raising $1 billion seed round, which could be terrifying, it also means that there are companies that are solving all their problems with cash. And that is not always the answer. You cannot just put more cooks in the kitchen and get product market fit. Too many cooks in the kitchen, you get a sour stew. And so I think the amazing scrappiness, the system thinkers, and the people who are going to be able to pivot, find the next opportunity, integrate the best resources, learn quickly online, those are the people who I think are going to win. And so while you might see massive startups out there, I actually think the grassroots ground level is where the biggest opportunity is right now.
All right, amen.
Yeah.
Rob, thoughts?
Yeah, Rob Ferguson. I'm the CTO and head of AI for Microsoft for Startups. I was a startup CTO all the way from really small companies all the way through exit, which I've had 2, including $150 million to SiriusXM for Automatic Labs. And before that, I was the global head of AI and ML for AWS Startups and Venture Capital. So I've kind of been inside of clouds, helping build the latest generation of generative AI with everything from startups like Anthropic and Stability all the way through new startups like we saw today. Was really excited to see all the pitches today. It brings me back to those memories of actually running my own startups. And I love the fact that this is a platform for people who are like me, who had gone to big tech for a while and maybe decide to go back and start another company.
That's great, Rob. Well, when you're ready to start your next venture, you know where to find us. And John.
Yeah, so I'm John Whaley, one of the founders of Inception Studio, but also I'm on the faculty at Stanford. I teach CS224G, which is about building applications using large language models. And I'm a 3-time founder myself, right? I think just not only here on stage, but just witnessing the entire group and everything come together, it's always so inspirational to see founders really grinding. And we had people who are up all night. We had people who are working hard. And it's so many times that constraints breed creativity. I echo what Josh said as well. I think that there's a lot of innovation still happening on the small scale, right? We're at this magical time now where you can start a company with even just solo founder, 2 people, 3 people, and you can build amazing products very quickly, move much more quickly than some of the larger organizations. And build truly impactful products. And that's something new, in this new AI world. It used to be, I'd have to hire up a team of 20, 30 people. Now it's you can get away with 2, 3 people, even solo founders, and we see them continuously punching above their weights. I mean, each of the teams we had on there, these are all small, tiny teams that are building amazing products. They're doing it so quickly, right? And so this is super inspirational to see.
All right, great. Well, thanks again to the judges.